Hello everyone, this is Shafali, and before we begin today's lesson, we are going to talk about what we did in the last lecture. So, what we talked about was we talked about the universal human aspirations, we talked about happiness and prosperity, we talked about roles of values in fulfilling human purpose. So, we did learn that to achieve our goals, that to achieve our long standing goals, to live in tandem, to live in fulfillment, that we have to be happy and prosperous, but that all is not an artificial factor. That is very genuine and that has to come from within. We cannot just, act and work it out because it's not going to last long. We need to have a good resilient system to continue being happy, continue being prosperous, but that can only happen when we work well with the surroundings, when we are happy and prosperous with our peers, with our family, with our society, with our environment, encompassing everything. Then how we have to develop a human purpose, how we have to achieve our goal, what we aspire, what we are aspiring, is it good, is it bad, how we are going to do that. We did talk about an inventory also, which is going to help us to learn about ourselves more, because ourselves we need to introspect and understand. Nobody from outside is going to do it for me. I will have to introspect, I will have to delve deep into myself and see what are the values that I have, which are the values I need to work on, which are the skills that I need to work on to make my life more prosperous, make me more happy, and make my mind and body work together for better fulfillment. Let's talk about today. We are going to talk about module 2, and we talk about harmony in the self and relationship, how we are at peace with each other, with oneself, needs of the self and body, what my body needs, what I need, what my mind will need, trust and respect in relationships, because relationships are very important. We need to harbor good feelings, we need to cater to good feelings so that we can have a respectable and a good relationship with everyone around us, be it our workplace, be it our family, be it the society, be it the environment, everywhere that we are. So, the needs of the self and the human body are distinct but interconnected. Yes, they are different. What the human body needs is all physical. The self means the mind. It is all basically emotional intelligence that we talked about in 1.1, yet interconnected aspects of our existence. Without the mind, the body cannot function. Without the body, the mind cannot function. And understanding them is very crucial for a fulfilling life guided by human values. So we need to understand how they work in a balance, how important it is for us to maintain the balance. We should feel thankful that we have a balanced body and a balanced mind. There are several people who do not possess the balance. So you can imagine how difficult it must be to navigate everyday living with that kind of a state, with that kind of a body, or with that kind of a mind, a body sometimes which is incapable of doing what you want, or a mind which is not stable enough to think what you even want. So we have to be very careful, we have to be thankful, and we need to see that both these things that we possess are in a balance and both are working functionally well together to give us that happiness that we talked about, to give us this that prosperity that we talked about. So let's see what are some fundamental needs of the self that we need. You know, now it's just self. It is not selfishness, but self. I'm talking about myself, yourself, yeah, individual. So happiness, all of us need to be happy. We cannot be grumpy all the time, because what does grumpiness do? It doesn't let us think decisively, it doesn't let us think rationally. So we need to be in a happy state of mind, though staying happy is very difficult at all times. But then contentment is the key. If we are content with what we are doing, if we are content with what we are having, happiness automatically sets in. Then we have trust. then we as humans don't often trust people, surroundings, anything around us. But again, it is a two-way process. That if we don't trust things around us, how is the other person supposed to trust us? It cannot. It has to be a balance. Then it is respect. Initially, when we began the module, we did say that the respect is earned and not demanded. But respect also is a two-way factor, that if we respect somebody, that somebody is going to respect us also. And even if we talk about younger siblings at home, much younger people than us, in today's times, respect is much needed, but a two-way process. So we need to have this value system in us for us to demand this value system. Then we talk about right understanding. We get right understanding from the spirit of discernment. When we have a good heart, a good mind that knows how to decide what is right, what is wrong, and what is right at a given point in time, then we will have the right kind of understanding. Understanding which is going to direct us into telling us what we are about to attempt, whether it is good at that point in time or whether it is bad at that point in time. Then the right feelings. Sometimes we do not think logically, sometimes we do not feel logically. Sometimes what we feel is often based on how we have been made to feel. So we have to feel from the core of our heart, and we need to again think about of it as rationally, because then everything that we feel, everything that we put out has its own repercussion. What we send out does come back to us. Then we have peace, and we need to be at peace. We need to have peaceful terms with ourselves, with our body, with everything around us, for us to be happy, because without peace there is no happiness, without contentment there is no peace, and there is no happiness. So we need to remain satisfied, is what is peaceful is. With whatever you have, we need to make do, we need to keep happy. These needs are continuous, they are ongoing, because we desire these positive states and feelings at all times. We need them most of the time. They are qualitative because they cannot be measured in physical units like kilograms or liters. Can we measure happiness? No, we cannot. Can we measure how sad we feel? No, we cannot. So it's not quantitative, it is not tangible. Can we touch happiness? No, we cannot. We can only feel it. Can we touch being sad? No, we cannot. We can only feel it then. They are experienced subjectively, intangibly. Now let us look at needs of the human body. What do we require? The human body, on the other hand, has needs that are primarily quantitative and temporary. Quantitative as in, we look at how much it is, how much, yeah? These are physical requirements necessary for its sustenance, protection, and proper functioning. So we need things which, even if we have the basic, will do, but then the human heart wants more all the time. So yes, we do rely on quantity sometimes, so that we are able to live well, so that we are able to feel protected, and we can function properly. We can only function properly when our mind is at peace, when we are satisfied. Examples of the body's needs. Let's quickly take a look. Okay, so here what we see is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, when we look at the triangle, the basic that we have is physiological needs. Physiological needs means all biological, mostly biological needs. So, our biological need is air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and obviously having children later on. So all these are biological needs. These are the basic needs. So if we do not have these, we cannot go further. And if you see the triangle, it keeps narrowing down as you go further. So the basic needs are the most important, and they form the base or the platform of what we further require. Then we have safety needs. We need to feel safe. So when we need to feel safe, we need to be personally safe. So we talk about personal security. We talk about employment. We talk about the resources that we have. We talk about our health. How healthy are we? We talk about our property. How much have we amassed? We talked about quantitative, so property. Then, as we go further on, it is love and belonging. Love and belonging is in friendships, in intimacy, in family, and in sense of connection. All of us want to feel loved. All of us want to belong to something, to somebody, to a family unit, to a friend, to a loved one, anything. Then we have esteem. Esteem is very different than ego. So, esteem we are talking about here. It is respect, self esteem, status, which is rightly earned, should be rightly earned, recognition, how well we are doing in life, strength, not as in physical strength. Strength is what I'm able to do, what I'm capable of doing with my life, what I'm capable of doing for others. Freedom, how do I use it? And in the end, I have self actualization. So self actualization is desire to become the most that one can be, means to achieve the ultimate goal in life, what I aspire to be, what I want to be, what do I finish my life with. So that was Maslow's hierarchy of need, and that is how a basic human person takes life one thing at a stride. Trust and respect, the very bedrock of healthy and thriving relationships. When we are at home, when we are at friends, we know that we have to trust each other. We know that we have to respect each other. Without these, the cycle of life cannot go on. The relationship cannot continue without these. They form a very pivotal factor in everything that we do. They are indeed fundamental human values. Fundamental means very, very important, that weave the fabric of connection. How does it weave? When we have a cloth, we see the very thin fabric which is being weaved together to make an entire spread. So here trust and respect are basically woven into a fabric of connection between individuals, whether it's between friends, family members, romantic partners, or even colleagues. Let's explore why they are so vital, why they are important. They, of course, are important. Trust, the foundation of security. Till we do not have trust in ourselves, if we do not have trust on the other person, how are we going to feel secure? How are we going to emotionally be secure? So, what does it do? It builds emotional safety, helps us to feel secure, helps us to be at peace with us, facilitates open communication. When we don't feel safe, how will we talk? How will we relate what we are feeling? How will we relate what we need? Reduces conflict and misunderstanding. It removes conflict, it removes disparity, it removes the feeling of negativity. We understand other things, other people much better then when we don't have any negative feeling. Promotes cooperation and collaboration. We need to work in tandem with everything around us, so it helps us, because when we are at peace, then we start working in tandem well with other things around us, whether it is friends, whether it is family, whether it is the environment, whether it is the society. So it does take time to build, and it is very easy to lose. It's often said that trust is like fine china. Fine china is in the very thin cups or saucers that we have. They're very fragile, they break very quickly. So, trust is also like that. I'm sure everyone knows and everyone has seen or experienced at some point in life. It takes time and care to build. Just with cups, we hold them very carefully, so even trust has to be held very carefully. But it can be shattered in an instant by dishonesty or broken promises. So, how a cup, if it just instantly falls, are you able to put it back together? No, you're not. So, that is how dishonesty and broken promises can happen. They can just break your trust and it can never formulate again. Rebuilding trust after it's been broken is a challenging and a very lengthy process. Challenging, obviously, how can you put together something which is completely shattered? You cannot. Whether your trust is broken or you have broken somebody's trust, vice versa. Respect, how is it important? Recognizing inherent worth, value system. Why is it important? Respect, on the other hand, is the recognition and appreciation of the inherent worth and dignity of another person, regardless of their differences, beliefs, or actions. It acknowledges their individuality and their right to be treated with consideration. We need to be considerate. How can we be considerate? We can be considerate by being empathetic, by having compassion as a value system. That will automatically bring out that quantity of respect that we need to give to the other person. That is what we also need to desire from the other person. What does respect allow? It allows the following: acknowledges individuality, promotes empathy and understanding, encourages healthy boundaries, boundaries which know how to say no when we don't like it, fosters positive interactions. It helps us to develop positive lookouts, positive feedbacks, positive conversations, is earned and given. So, when we want respect, we have to give it. When we do not give respect, we cannot even demand it. Let's see why trust and respect go hand in hand. Why are they intertwined? Trust and respect are deeply intertwined and often go hand in hand. It's difficult to have a truly meaningful relationship where one is present without the other. It cannot be. Trust and respect go hand in hand actually. Trust fosters respect. Trust brings about respect. When we trust someone to be honest and reliable, we naturally develop a greater respect for their character. Yes, we do. So when we cannot trust, we cannot respect either. Respect builds trust. Treating someone with respect, valuing their opinions and boundaries, creates an environment where trust can flourish. So just like a plant, when you water it, it flourishes. So does trust flourish with respect. Damage to one impacts the other. A breach of trust can severely erode respect, and a lack of respect can make it impossible to build or maintain trust. So it is a very subtle balance we need to maintain. So now let's see how we can practically apply or practically see where we or our balance of trust and respect land. So what we are going to do, we are going to talk about a journal where we are going to journal it and see what our experiences talk. What did you learn about relationships and your role in fostering respect and trust? So when you had relationships at home, with the family, with the society, with your loved one, did trust matter? Did respect matter? Did trust and respect go hand in hand? Did they balance each other and then the relationship? What surprised you? Did it surprise you that the absence of one can automatically hamper the other? Or was it the other way around? What feels challenging? Did you find it difficult to have trust and not respect, respect and not trust? So we need to think and journal about it. So what we learned today was largely about the needs of the self and the body, and trust and respect. What emotions, what values myself, my mind needs in order to adjust with how my outlook is going to be. And then we did see that trust and respect on a larger frame, on a larger platform is very, very important. And they do go hand in hand, do go together so that things can work well, we can live well, we can have good relationships, we can foster good relationships, we can foster good behaviors. Thank you very much.